Good evening, fellow friends. Hey, so today I talked to a mix engineer on Zoom, and it kind of inspired the idea for this video. I don't think I ever really talked about my music background on the channel, but the way I got started writing songs was when I was a kid. My cousin, he and his friends had a band because, this was the 80s. That was the cool thing, was for you to have a band. I got to go to a lot of their rehearsals, went to a lot of their gigs. They played at all the local festivals. They played at different school events and anywhere that they could get a gig. That was actually pretty cool. And seeing as they were 5-6 years older, I kind of got to be around the older kids and kind of experience youth through that lens in elementary school. One of my first experiences actually playing for myself was I was about 10, and my cousin lent me one of his acoustic guitars. I was matching pitch, listening to tapes. Back then it was cassettes. We didn't have CDs in 1985 or whatever year it was, but probably 86 or 87. But we didn't quite have CDs yet. So I was matching pitch, listening to cassettes and learning Bon Jovi songs. I can actually learn how to play this. I didn't have any music theory knowledge. I didn't have any formal music training, no ear training. And, matching pitch, doing single notes on the guitar. When I got into high school, I signed up for the school band and learned how to play trumpet. I really sucked during the beginner band year. I was last chair, but that first summer, when we were all out of school, probably practiced about 4 hours a day. I know I had to piss off the neighbors quite a bit. So the next year, I went from last chair up to the first trumpet section, like third chair or something crazy like that. It's actually kind of comical. Started going to the all regional events, playing in ensembles, playing solo pieces, and participated in marching band and all that good stuff. When I finished high school, I got a full band scholarship. So, of course, I got into the college band program. Started off at University of Arkansas at Monticello and majored in music performance. I got a full scholarship doing that, and as a part of being a music major, I learned piano. I remember how frustrating it was trying to learn the assigned work that was being given by the instructor. And I think he thought I wasn't actually trying, or that I wasn't practicing. And sometimes, when you have that kind of repertoire that you have to sit down and actually focus on and learn, it can be a challenge to just sit at the piano and be learning stuff that you're not that interested in learning. But the way that I found of working around that, I took my little jam box into the practice room with me, and I took some CDs with me. I listened to Journey while I was in the practice room, and I was playing along with whatever it was I was listening to in the practice room, and lo and behold, Dr. Becker, the instructor in question, he passes by and he bursts through the door and he says, "Oh, you're jamming out in here, aren't you?" I'm just trying to get myself into the mode of practicing. He's like, oh, it's okay, carry on, And I was like, oh, okay. And so, lo and behold, in the keyboarding classes following that, he gave me a whole lot less shit in the future. I mean, it actually turned out to be a pretty happy accident. I just learned to make my own fun while I was in the practice room learning how to play piano. But the other thing that I wound up doing was I bought my first guitar because the music shop was just right down the road. Please, people, don't get disappointed in me, but the very first guitar that I bought was a Gibson. I know, the dreaded skinny little neck that if you drop it the wrong way, it's just gonna break off, and that G string, it never stays in tune. Our favorite things to bitch about that have to do with a Gibson, right? I bought a 1995 Gibson Nighthawk, and I got a Fender Frontman 15G, just a little bitty practice amp. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it can be cranked up to get some gain. I didn't have any pedals, so I figured out how to get some gain out of it. Set up a little station in my laundry room where I had my little starter guitar rig, and I had a drum set already. I had it set up in there. One of my friends, he'd come over and play drums, and I'd play guitar and fiddle around in there, and went to the open jam at a restaurant right next to the guitar shop. That just happened to be owned by the guy that owned the guitar shop. And so we would go over there and we would just improvise. And it'd be fun. Go to open mics, go to open jam nights. I mean, especially at a small restaurant, because you never know. It could be the most fun that you have. And, the great thing was I knew just enough chords on the damn guitar that I could fake my way through just about any song. We had somebody come up on stage with us one night and start singing songs, and I would be like, I don't know this song, but I would go ahead and improvise it. I learned you can't go wrong playing in the key of G major or playing in the key of D major. It's not. You're not gonna get too lost. Just stick with the basic four chords of those two keys. You'll be fine. While I was studying music at UAM, I also participated in the jazz ensemble. That gave me I think it was an extra $1,000 or so per semester. It was actually a sizable amount of money. Helped me buy that guitar rig, basically. And we would go on a tour once a semester. There was one semester that we went on a 2-week tour. We all got excused from class, and we went to St. Louis, Missouri. And along the way, we stopped at different stops every day, and it was a lot of fun. Got to go up into the arch, got to see the city, and it was overall a really, really good experience. My family, they wound up moving to Central Arkansas. I decided I wanted to change schools. So the three options that were most viable at the time were ASUBB, which I don't know a lot about that school, University of Central Arkansas, which it's not far away from here, but it's far enough away that it's like a 1-hour drive one way every day. And then there was the University of Arkansas Little Rock. Tried to say that 3 times fast. So the thing about UALR, it didn't have the football team, so we didn't have the marching band, and therefore we didn't have like a full orchestra kind of scholarship that could be taken advantage of every semester. However, their music department had a recording studio, and we were very much learning a lot of things using MIDI, and I wound up buying a Yamaha PSR 292 so that I could do my homework from my apartment. And in order to do that, I had to have a MIDI interface, and I was able to hook that up through my computer. I know we're getting really techie in 2003 here already, so it's kind of at the beginning of the home recording revolution as we know it today. They had a recording studio class, and they had a songwriting class. So I signed up for the songwriting class, and that was where I met Dr. Burry. And I sat in for several weeks of the classes, and I was getting a lot of really good value out of these classes. We were listening to a wide variety of different songs and analyzed the structure, and we would look at how whether or not there was a pre-chorus, whether or not there was a bridge, the difference between a pre-chorus and a bridge. That was actually kind of one of our assignments, was for us to write songs and to present them in the class. I mean, they were perfectly fine with starting off with just writing lyrics, but after a few sessions after class, I pulled Dr. Burry aside and I asked him, hey, so I have about 100 college credits from another school, and I'm currently a music performance major there. How can I finish my degree with a focus on songwriting? Because I actually kind of enjoy this. This is a little bit more along the lines of what I went to college for. And so he said, all right, I'll tell you what, go ahead and write me a catalog of 7 songs, and I want them to be completely finished. You'll be able to play them, and you can graduate with a music degree with a focus in music theory. And so I thought, that's pretty damn cool. Okay. Never actually thought about that, but the great thing is by the time I actually turned in my work, I had probably written anywhere from 25 to 50 songs. So, by no means were all of them good, or probably any of them, to be quite honest. But no, actually, some of them actually stuck around and got rewritten later, got repurposed and improved. And that's one of the great things about writing a larger quantity of songs, is you have stuff to pick from, and you kind of start to build a bank of ideas. You kind of build something where maybe this idea didn't work here in this context or for this use, but it can be used somewhere else. I'm going to be working on some other videos. We're going to talk about this pretty soon, because I'm going to tell you what, it's a sweet amp. I mean, you do not need pedals for it. You don't. It is a standalone piece of equipment that you can use for practically any purpose. I'm telling you, you can use it as your guitar amp and not need pedals. You can use it for your keyboard amp. You can use it if you're going to play solo, just, hook a microphone into it and your instrument. It has a looper. You can hook up a drum machine to it, feed in sound files through the aux, and it's just a great piece of equipment. But we're going to talk about that later. But for right now, y'all have a happy 4th of July, and I will see you next time. Ciao.